greatest minds from around the world. This is the Nerds That Know. Stash here, along with my lovely menagerie of freaks, pedophiles, crazy people, murder, rapists. We've got it all.
What?
Pirates. Pirates.
Like this introduction. I don't like it.
No, this is not good, man.
This is horrible. All filled with horrendous debauchery.
Debauchery, yes. Pedophilia, no. Rape, only when it's consensual.
You guys, just let out. Just let out who you are.
Look, I'm only into consensual non-consent, right? Pedophilia is just not okay.
No.
Bestiality is not okay.
I have a list of things written out, but I can't find my paper. So
you threw in pedophilia instead?
Dude! You meant necrophilia. Did you mean necrophilia?
Sure.
I'm not into necrophilia either. I mean, unless you're talking about fucking like vampires and zombies and shit.
That's slightly better than,
pedophilia.
Pedophilia and bestiality.
That's true.
Good God.
I mean, I'm okay with interspecies erotica because, like, who doesn't want to think about, like...
Oh, okay.
Right.
Could have, said dendrophilia. Maybe you got some tree humpers.
Stash, we know you got laid over the weekend, so you're just suffering from a lack of blood flow or oxygen deprivation.
Stash is our resident man whore.
I'm tired.
I'm actually really curious to hear how Bobby was going to finish that sentence earlier. You said you understand interspecies relationships because what now?
Yeah.
Wow, silent.
What?
She's got nothing for that.
Yeah,
well done, Fox. Well played, Fox.
Well, because of Fox.
It's true. Hi, Fox here. I haven't eaten all day.
Hi, Bobby here. I'd like to eat Fox all day.
Wink.
Wow.
Look, Stash may be the resident man whore, but I am on a motherfucking dry spell.
Thank you. I'm married, so I get regular sex.
You know what, Tank? Nobody likes you.
I don't know, man. You got those comics that you got to do the addiction scratch.
Oh, dude, I don't have
that shit up, and at least one of us will like you.
I feed addictions. I'm not addicted myself.
Well, this is why, at some point in the very near future, all of us will be getting together and having an incredible dinner and game night. And we will be taking some video and photos and posting them on our website because I'm sure those will get really amusing because I will also be providing the booze.
The booze hall.
All right. And Smurf here, actively single. Thank you very much.
I am also actively single, hence the dry spell.
Oh, well, there you go.
Doesn't sound too active to me.
Yeah.
It is active. It is just active with batteries. I ain't had nothing twixt my nethers weren't run on batteries.
Wow, you're really going to quote Firefly?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what? That's the only reference I have that talks about using a vibrator to get yourself off.
From nerd culture, I think you might actually be onto something.
You might.
At least sort of a little more hardcore stuff.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything in Buffy. There might have been. I don't know.
Nope. Because they're all in high school and, high school
go to college.
Yeah, and then they're all fucking each other.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure someone was taking a dagger somewhere.
Someone was on the wrong end of the pointy thing, and, well, it just went sideways from there.
That's when Kendra comes and uses Mr. Pointy. But...
Wow. Doctor Who reference. Well, you're on fire tonight.
Yeah.
Well,
So
My loins are on
haven't
fire
you
tonight.
done anything but watch our millions of trailers that came out in the past week?
Yes, I also finished watching Invincible up to where we are right now.
Holy crap! That is on fire!
Awesome.
Speaking of being on fire,
Anybody else
I was going to catch up on it today, but it turns out there's too many episodes to watch from the time I get off work to here.
there's only four. What is it? 4 or 5 right now?
It's at 4, and are they each 45 minutes?
Yeah.
About that, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that much time.
Well, it's worth the watch.
It's so good.
There is one character. Actually, there's a couple missing from the comic. The most significant is the Savage Dragon, who actually does make an appearance at the funeral and throughout the series, but he is missing from the cartoon. So
I'm wondering if that's a rights issue or not.
I think it's a rights issue because Savage Dragon actually has already had his own cartoon, and I know it's running on Hulu. I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
So, and I don't know what kind of Dick Larson's being. And
he's kind of a gatekeeping dick to begin with.
Yeah. So I don't know if Larson's the reason that we haven't seen the Savage Dragon or didn't see the Savage Dragon, and that's kind of significant for later story arcs. So, yeah, so I'm curious to see if they're going to like substitute or just skip that stuff altogether. Doesn't matter. The story so far,
yes, it's beautiful,
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I will catch up this weekend.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a good one to just kind of sit and let it play out.
Soak it in, baby.
This is one of those situations where you're literally, for the most part, watching a comic book come to life.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of Savage Dragon and a couple other points, it is following the comic very, very closely. So it is.
I watched the trailer today, and it looks really good.
Oh, it's very good.
I didn't realize the episodes were quite that long. Yeah, otherwise I would have budgeted more time for it.
Yeah, they're about 40 to 45 minutes each.
Yeah.
This is probably the only time I will ever say this. I'm a little envious of you, Stash, because I've read the comics, and to be able to go in unprepared and just have this oyster open up to you, I'm a little envious because it's your first time and it's quite the experience.
You know, Stash, there are very few things in which you're still a virgin. This is one of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't going there.
But let's be fair. It's true.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good storyline. It is ultra violent, so if you're kind of twitchy about that stuff,
But you know what? In like correlation to like The Boys versus this, at least it's animated.
True.
It could be so much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched Parasite, so it can't be worse than that anime. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Never watched Parasite.
I did appreciate, and I think Stash will greatly appreciate the shower scene, the locker room shower moment. What was that? Episode 3, where Eve,
yeah. I'm with you. Yes.
where Atom Eve walks in.
That was
Duplicate.
all people look out for that.
It was pretty hot.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like Stash will greatly appreciate that moment.
So does that qualify as playing with yourself? I'm just curious.
Well, I don't know because Duplicate wasn't,
Well, we don't know what Duplicate.
We don't know. We don't know.
I have a very good idea of what Duplicate was doing.
We can infer a little bit on what may have taken place, but that's about it.
Okay. But that brings up an interesting point. If you met an exact replica of yourself, would you fuck yourself?
Yes.
No, I'm not my type.
A clone? Or no?
I'm not my own type.
Yeah, it's like I would absolutely hate meeting myself.
Well,
Oh God, you would totally hate meeting you, Stash.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No, but see, here's the thing. For somebody who is bisexual or same-sex oriented, that is a very valid question, Fox. But see, like, I'm not my own type.
But I feel like even hetero people, there's a little bit of like, well, it's myself. Like,
see, and that's the thing. Like, I don't lean bisexual or gay at all. But if it was me,
Okay, does that mean if you had an identical twin, you'd be okay with having like a threesome with them and like doing like a Devil's Own or like an Eiffel Tower?
That wouldn't be up to me. That wouldn't.
Yeah. I guess
that's not my decision.
Well, I mean, because there are a lot of hetero dudes who are like, no, because like, what happens if our balls touch?
It's only gay if you're that.
I think there's more problems there. In fact, hashtag meet yourself. Put that hashtag meet yourself.
It's MEAT.
Yeah.
If it's an Eiffel Tower situation, your balls really can't reach each other unless you got some really stretchy balls.
Well,
Eiffel Tower, no, but a Devil's Own, yes.
The positioning, and there's a lot of slappy going on. I mean,
but come on, that takes some serious swinging for that to touch each other.
For an Eiffel Tower, absolutely. Like either that or she'd have to be really, really short.
Oh yeah, maybe if you're having sex with a dwarf, yes.
But you know, maybe you're into that. Or maybe your wife's only 5 foot tall.
What else did we watch this week?
Oh, okay.
I knew where this was going. What else did we watch this week?
Hey, we also watched The Birdie and the Snowman.
Yes.
That's true, we did.
And that was intense.
And that was a John Wick movie in about 45 minutes.
Holy fuck!
Like, there was some absolutely incredible cinematography behind some, like, pretty meh writing.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, they're kind of in uncharted territory, and they're setting up, like, huge. This is huge story setting, because not only do we got Baron's...
I don't want to say anything about the spoiler at the end, but...
No, this is about where they go, and a huge setup for Baron Zemo, because Baron Zemo...
the official debut of Baron Zemo.
Correct.
Which is like, holy hell.
It is, and it also sets up the potential for the Thunderbolts, which is a huge benchmark for villains working for the government. It's kind of like Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad.
Well, they set that up in a couple ways.
They did, especially with like the villains that they're talking about. And with Armor Wars kind of floating out there, we may actually maybe get the Beetle.
That'd be cool.
I would love to see a Beetle and then get into, the other half of the Thunderbolts. In addition, Madripoor is huge. That's like the Hand, freaking Elektra, Wolverine. It sets up with so much for the Marvel use, like, Tortuga. That's where all the bad guys go. They're all hanging out in Madripoor. Mm-hmm. So let's go there and
we passed by a couple specific places that have some big comic book connections.
Yep.
They passed by a couple bars that some interesting things happen in those places. So if that goes further, that'd be an interesting way to introduce some characters.
It would. Just who's hanging out on the bar. It'll be like the cantina in Star Wars. It just sets up so much stuff.
And this one it was not heavy on dialogue.
No.
And I think that was intentional. You also got the person who directed this movie or directed this episode is the director of John Wick.
Well, that explains a lot then.
Yeah,
there you go. No wonder it felt like John Wick.
Yeah, that was entirely on purpose to kind of give Sharon Carter that
edge,
hardcore. I'm gonna just beat the shit out of everybody.
Dude, she is
fucking badass, dude.
Oh yeah. They actually, she's not even that badass in the comics. I mean, they really stepped up her game
a couple times.
Nothing like that.
Okay, but here's the thing, like, it was nice to have her on there and just be all like, "What up, bitches?"
Pretty much. She showed up the boys.
Like, I had this whole moment of all like, I love you.
I thought she was going to make him cry. It was great.
I seriously wanted to just like tongue kiss her hard.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Step in line, bitch. You already got some this weekend.
You can have her. I would much rather have the redheaded villain because
she's flat chested and looks like a child.
Oh, Carly, yeah, she's interesting, and she took the full step into this is no longer questionable. She's basically a villain.
Yeah, like that was the big thing.
And she even said that at the beginning of or the end of last episode.
Yeah.
She was like, you know what? We're no longer, fucking around. We're taking it to that level.
I just didn't think it would step up to that level.
And then
because
they've got to ramp it up. They've got to ramp it up. Because
you obviously know where it's going to go. There's going to be a splintering of that group because of something like this.
Well,
absolutely.
I don't know if we know where it's going to go. That's just it. They've opened the door for so many possibilities and so much potential that even I'm kind of sitting there, well, if they do this, they could do this, and if they do that. I mean, it really depends on the narrative, because there's so much that they still haven't even touched on Winter Soldier, and Echo still hasn't even popped up yet. So,
up to this point, they've kind of played with the idea that they're freedom fighters.
Sweetie, is that vodka?
What?
She's drinking vodka. Up to this point, they kind of played with the idea that they're freedom fighters to a certain extent. And now it's kind of like, well, freedom fighters don't generally do what she just did.
Where she did the,
wasted a bunch of civilians.
Yeah, seemingly not, I wouldn't necessarily innocent, but...
No, civilians. I didn't say innocent.
We didn't say innocent.
Yeah.
We just said,
No, but she didn't just waste them. She executed them. And that's the fundamental difference.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a difference between killing someone who's like out and about doing stuff and maybe in your way. There's a big difference from pacifying people and then slaughtering them.
Oh yeah, she definitely took that step. So there's no longer, at least for her, there's no gray. There is no gray anymore. She does not care. She's fighting her fight.
Yep.
I mean, but she also held her mother's hand as she slowly died.
True.
No, she is a good villain because she has like valid motivations.
Yeah.
It's
kind
just
of like
but,
Magneto.
Yeah, the thing is, like, just because you have a good motivation doesn't mean there aren't steps you can take.
No. Magneto, valid reasons, right?
Yeah.
Put into, camps during World War II, mother shot in the brain because he couldn't use his powers. Carly, we were displaced. This is really wrong. My mom has tuberculosis. I'm going to blow people up.
That's a valid reason.
It's a valid reason.
Yeah,
it is not a Magneto level reason.
Sure it is.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
It's just as valid as Killmonger's. Dad gets killed and he gets left an orphan.
Yeah.
Okay, I will put Carly on the same level as Killmonger. I will not put Carly on the same level as Magneto.
Well, see, the thing is, that's her minor motivation. Her main motivation is to support and rescue the camps that she exists within.
And I get that. I get that.
For vengeance alone, she's doing this for what she thinks is right, which makes her more interesting.
And again, I put Carly on the same level as Killmonger because he's also doing it more for like hey, look at what's been done to.
No, Killmonger's entirely different motivation. He's looking for payback. He's looking to just rule.
He's looking for dominance.
Yeah, there's a big difference between Killmonger
and you don't think that Carly's going to be looking for dominance?
No.
That's not her intention. Her intention is
level
the playing field
whatever.
across the world.
I'm telling you, her motivation's entirely different. Because once she feels everything is equal and fair and played out, she would stop. Killmonger would not.
She's more on par with Thanos, honestly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a reckoning, and she's going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay,
she
fine.
Wants to equal it.
But I do not put her on the same level as Magneto.
I wonder if we'll see our first real human villain die in Marvel.
Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like a very human character that they create into a villain. I wonder if we're going to see her die, because honestly, I don't see her stopping outside of getting killed.
Okay, but what about Killmonger?
That's true.
But
no, because like I feel like in a lot of ways his humanity was kind of reduced by his actions. It's like for her, the more we see of her, the more human and more understanding we have of her character.
Yeah, but even the closing scene with Killmonger is him basically saying, "I'd rather die now than exist as a slave."
Yeah, that's true.
Crossbones.
That's very like
Crossbones. Yeah. Although we don't know entirely what his initial inspiration for joining Hydra was, but at least in the context of the MCU.
And we can't really count Obadiah.
No, he was a prick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think anybody was sad when Obadiah kicked it.
I was. We got rid of him way too quick.
Okay, you were upset because Obadiah went too soon, not because Obadiah died.
Yes.
Yeah. And that actor was too good to get rid of that quickly.
Yes. Jeff Daniels was great.
Well, the most interesting Iron Man villain that we got that is still alive, at least from the MCU, is Justin Hammer. I want to see where that goes. I'm hoping we get some Armor Wars.
Well, we're supposed to, so we'll see if Hammer shows up with.
I love Justin Hammer.
And Sam Rockwell playing him is absolutely perfect.
He's such a good shithead.
He is a great shithead. But see, in the comic, Obadiah ends up killing himself because Stark finally beats him. So he takes a repulsor, like that big blue suit of his, and he blows his own head off.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he went out like, well, I wouldn't say a champ, but he was like, oh, well, I see where this is going to go, and I'm not going to win, so fuck you, Tony, and blasts his head off.
It's more of a, I'm not going to win, but I'm not going to let you beat me.
Pretty much. Yeah. And I liked that approach. I wish they could have followed that storyline. It's very dark for the cinematic universe.
Well, to a certain extent, they kind of did. I mean, he did kill himself based on his actions.
Yes, but they could. That was too early in the MCU for them to go that dark. I think they could do that now. I don't think they could do that then.
No.
I agree. I think it would have been too premature for the audience.
But other than that,
I'm sorry?
Yeah, other than the massive setup, they've done a lot of setup in this episode. I don't know.
They did. I don't know. I mean, I am absolutely baffled and just curious of where the hell we're going. Because at the end of this episode, all I could think was Thunderbolts. That's all I could think was Thunderbolts.
See, what I want to know is what's going to happen, because they end up introducing a big, not necessarily the character herself being big, but a big connection to the show in the existing universe with Wakanda. And that's huge.
Right? The whole you dropped this moment.
And I was right. I just want to say, we would see Wakanda. I was right.
Yeah. They end up doing it, and that was a good way to do it too, because and that furthers the idea that he is the White Wolf, though. At this point,
and that was a really interesting unveiling, and it was so fast in the dialogue that I was reeling over it for a couple of minutes after they said that, and they just kept moving along. They didn't even give you a chance to breathe. They just kept hitting you with more and more.
When he picked up the bead, I knew exactly what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just curious, well, who from Wakanda is there? So
I didn't know I didn't know who we were going to see.
Yeah, I was kind of fingers crossed we were gonna see someone from the movies, but
well, she is in the movies.
Yeah, but she doesn't really
she doesn't really have any lines in the movies other than the.
She was like Corvus at one point, momentarily,
until he gets routed.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm curious. How many episodes we got left? Where are we at?
3.
We're on 3. We only have 3 left.
Yep.
That's
which
a lot of ground to cover.
That's roughly 2 hours worth of show, apparently. So
yeah. Well, I don't know. This one was particularly long. This one was just shy of an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, at most, we're gonna have 3 hours remaining.
At most, I have no idea. Depends on how much more they want to stuff in there before the end of this. We're eventually going to get back to Isaiah Bradley, I'm sure. And my hope is that we get the Weapon X connection during this. I really do.
I don't know. I posted a meme on our page today that was it's a Harry Potter meme of Dudley from the very first Harry Potter movie, where he's talking about, like, how many presents are there? It's like 6, but WandaVision had 9. I want more.
I mean, I'd say so far they've tapped into a lot more comic book lore when it comes to their extra characters that are kind of sitting on the peripheral here for Falcon and the Winter Soldier than they did in WandaVision.
Absolutely. And I think that the reason that they're tapping into so much more already is because they jumped in both hands and feet in the first 15 seconds of the very first episode.
Yeah.
And WandaVision, it took them the first 3 episodes to get into anything, which is, I think, why WandaVision needed to be 9 episodes.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, what do you feel is the stronger show right now?
I can't say. I think
3
it makes...
3 episodes in or runtime in?
Runtime in. I mean, I would personally go with WandaVision so far.
Wanda had a lot more depth to it by the, 2.5 hour mark that we're at.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'd honestly say I've enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier more just because there's so much lore. There's so much tie into it. There's so much little things that, as a comic book reader for 30 years, they're tapping into all those little memories that I have.
And okay, so I think that WandaVision hit a completely different button, a completely different tone than this does. And I think that if they had done them in the reverse order, which was the original plan, it wouldn't have worked.
No, WandaVision would have been destroyed.
And I think that WandaVision was the way to start, just with how hard-hitting this show is.
Yeah.
But I also think that WandaVision kept us coming back and kept us coming back and had so much to offer.
Mm-hmm. And I think WandaVision was much more of a personal story.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest part. It is a very, very personal story. It is basically it's Wanda's story. It's very personal to her. It's very specifically her vantage point, her story. Whereas with Falcon and Winter Soldier, there's like 8 people getting a story told every episode.
Yeah. Like the whole thing we were just saying about Sharon Carter having her story being told in this last episode. But also
Sharon Carter, we got Zemo,
but Baron's story, and and having the Wakanda warriors show up, and all of these
Dr.
things,
Nagel and all of that. Like there was a lot more stories going on at one time.
All of that was crammed into one episode, and that would not have fit with the way the storytelling was done in WandaVision.
Oh, not at all.
No.
That would have taken 6 episodes of WandaVision.
I do love how seamlessly Zemo seems to fit into the team, though. That makes me super happy.
I appreciated the moment, of the couples therapy. Where they end up with like the interlocked legs, and she's all like, "Are y'all having a staring contest?"
Well, this was like Lethal Weapon 3.
Okay, have you seen all of the memes that have the Lethal Weapon poster and it said, "We had to start with this to get to this"?
I have not seen those.
Actually,
oh my god, right. They're hilarious.
I was just legitimately thinking from the like, you have your buddy cops, you have your Riggs and Murtaugh right at the beginning, obviously.
Tango and Cash is more like it.
Okay, Tango and Cash, that's a good one. But we got our Joe Pesci character this time.
Oh yes, we did.
With Zemo, like he's the third.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it was very much that, like, when they're fighting, and he's all like, "But guys," and they're just like, "No."
Yeah, exactly. He's the third guy. Like, what? Can I get no? Shut the fuck up before we kill you.
Yeah. Do I at least get a gun? No. Perfect.
Yeah,
I do
but
the level of agency they gave him in this episode.
Oh my god! And that total that Joker moment with the mask.
Dude, when he put on his mask, I was like, fucking yes.
Oh, like when he took off the mask and then he's in the car and it's like,
it's supercharged.
I love it. It was fun. It was a good episode. It makes me so excited. So excited.
So much excited.
What's happening next?
So speaking of which, we have the Marvel trailers. We've got
so many Marvel trailers. Okay.
So many Marvel trailers.
Loki.
Okay, let's start with Loki.
Our next series in June.
Yep, yes.
And they are going deep, it looks like, on the time agency.
Yeah, and Tom Hiddleston is just like, he's having so much fun with it.
He is. So if you're a speculator, Owen Wilson's character actually has his first appearance in Fantastic Four 393. And it starts that whole time agency storyline that it looks like they're putting Loki into. The art is by Barry Windsor Smith. No, not Barry Windsor Smith. It's Byrne. Byrne does that.
Yeah, that was a John Byrne one. Yeah,
that's a John Byrne story. And sorry, I always go to Barry Windsor Smith because
you're understandable. He did a lot.
He did do a lot, and usually it's his stories that are the best, especially when you're dealing with Thor and the FF. But this is a Byrne story, and Owen's character first appears in that issue. So if it has not shot up already,
I have not checked since the video, so I don't know on that one.
By tomorrow morning, I'm going to bet it's going to shoot up just like the White Vision.
Probably, yeah.
Just a guess, but now it eliminates my Mojoverse theory.
Yeah,
damn it!
Seemingly gets rid of that idea.
Right out the window. Right out the window. Damn. It would have been fun.
It makes me wonder what part of that story might overlap into the Ant-Man storyline.
That's very interesting.
With the Quantum Mania stuff, because there are some characters that pop up during the time agency storyline that would fit into certain aspects of the Quantum Mania story.
It's a good question.
Especially when they show Loki's timeline and how it just fractures.
Oh, yeah. It goes, it's beautiful.
It's great. So we may not have seen the last of Loki. So hopefully he shows up in Love and Thunder.
Just makes me want to say that time is all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, but you already gave me shit for bringing in various quotes from Doctor Who earlier, so I'm not going to say that.
I wouldn't be surprised if Doctor Who shows up in this, to be honest. That'd be fun. No. Is David Tennant supposed to be in this movie, just randomly? That'd be great.
He could show up as Kilgrave.
Just Have a random time box show up and Kilgrave pop out.
Or he just goes into that story. You know, he walks into it, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Oops, my bad.
That'd be fun. But yes, Loki looks like it's going to be crazy. And if you are a fan of kind of what Smurf's saying, if you're a fan of any Fantastic Four stuff, there seems to be a lot of connections popping up in this story, seemingly.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I know that
our first reveal of some version of Fantastic Four characters in this story.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about it because right now it's only whispers in dark alleyways and by the water cooler and such. But there have been rumors and whispers and such that we may even see some hints of the Fantastic Four appearing in Doctor Strange. But we're not going to talk about that yet.
My only issue with that rumor is that's basically what's been said about everything.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's because everybody is just basically trying to say the Fantastic Four movies never happened.
Oh, it's definitely happening. Fantastic Four is a huge problem.
No. We're trying to say that the old ones don't exist. We're trying to erase them out of our memory.
Well,
the first one wasn't bad.
I like the first one.
The key thing is, because they've already got components, my message back and forth on this rumor hit, and this will be the only thing we say about it, is that it opens the door to the Illuminati series, where key characters of the Marvel Universe end up with Infinity Stones. They end up coming back into our reality and are given to key characters. And half of those characters that they named in that quote-unquote rumor are all people that possess stones from the Illuminati.
And the problem with that is the other half are
dead.
Yeah.
Are kaput.
The other half are no longer characters in the MCU.
Yes. So it's kind of a fun rumor, but it's not even worth going a deep dive on it because we have no clue about Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
No. Nobody really knows anything. Well,
no, because I keep seeing the damn Spider-Verse people. I don't want Tobey Maguire back as Spider-Man, all right? I'm the only fan that can say that. Fuck Tobey Maguire. I don't like his derpy ass.
Ew. I don't want to fuck Tobey Maguire.
His derpy ass does not need to come back to the Spider-Man.
I think we're gonna with that one, that seems to be somewhat confirmed at this point because there seems to be photos of certain Spider-Man characters from this Garfield and from the Maguire series going up, including Andrew Garfield being in the same city at the same time of filming.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
That's
in so many ways.
At this point that there's at least going to be a cameo from the previous two mainline Spider-Man characters.
Okay, fine. Have them cameo as like reporters for whatever, but no.
I'm fine with
as Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm fine with Garfield. Garfield actually was semi-entertaining, but at the end, Toby was just too derpy and
he was obnoxious.
He was.
He was a whiny bitch.
So over him.
He was a 30-year-old, 16-year-old.
Yeah, done. Just I'm Spider-Man, but I'm going to ride around on this little pedal motorcycle with my helmet. No, fuck that.
Well, then the third movie kind of fucked that.
Oh yeah, the third. I'm emo Spidey. Yeah.
All right. So other trailers that have dropped.
Black Widow.
All right, so we have a new Black Widow trailer.
Which they're going deep on the Russian connection.
Looks really good. Yeah. And this new trailer almost makes me not shut up. I'm a bottle of wine in. Almost makes me not mad at them for delaying the release again.
Almost.
Yeah.
I said almost. Actually, I said almost. But I meant almost.
I said I like the trailer. I love the younger shots of them. David Harbour, they younged up a little bit, and then they give him the dad bod and the beard later on in the trailer. I think so. I just love that it's lit the entire nerd community on fire with Taskmaster's frickin' costume.
Who cares?
I know. I'm like, seriously? This is the point you're gonna pick on, is Taskmaster. I've been begging for Taskmaster since Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 1. Yes. I have wanted this character. I'll take him any way you want to give him to me. I don't freaking care. I'm excited to see this guy.
And let's just be 100% honest. His look in the comic books is basically a cross between like Moon Knight and what the hell is the?
Well, he's got like Moon Knight, Hawkeye, Nomad, Cap. Who's
Crossbones?
Crossbones. Who's the swords guy that trained Hawkeye? Yeah. Black Spear or whatever the swords guy. I mean, he's a mismatch of all of the heroes that he has absorbed their powers or memorized their powers.
His costume is all over the place to begin with. So the idea that they kind of just slimmed it down and made it, honestly, making it more notable because it looks like it's a whole new costume.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, good. So he doesn't look like it looked like he, took a pile of clothes out of the lost and found. Awesome. But I'm super excited about the Red Guardian stuff that they're doing, and that they're going to be doing this seemingly deep dive on the Red Room.
This is, I can just reach it, is his first appearance.
There you go.
There it is. That is his first appearance and his costume.
And he looks like every bit of Deathstroke and Captain America and Moon Knight and a bunch of people all rolled together.
Yes. So when they're saying that they're upset, and then later on, even his costume changes when he shows up in Deadpool, and when he shows up in his own, 3 limited series at this point, his costume has never been set.
Yeah. So the fact that they're giving the Taskmaster character, who I keep saying him, but in this case, they're definitely playing with the idea that it might be a her, for part of it at least.
Oh, I mean,
and there's nothing wrong with that. I appreciate the fact that they're going with it doesn't need to be gender specific.
Well, no. I think they're looking at 2 different Taskmasters. I think there's going to be 2 different characters playing this because there's definitely a male physique at one point, but then they also show at one point very feminine features on the hands and arms reaching for the mask.
Unless that's her sister that we kind of get introduced to.
Yeah, if it could be Elena, we don't know.
So I'm excited to see it. It looks very, very good, and I'm glad we've waited.
It looks great, and it looks. You never know. They're going to Russia, so all kinds of weird shit could happen with this.
This is very true.
Well, there's a lot of, specifically in the X-Men universe, there's a lot of Russian heritage in that story. So we could just run randomly into a bunch of different characters. So.
Oh my God, Colossus. Yes.
I'm hoping for Omega Red personally, but yeah.
Omega Red would be great, but I don't. Again, there's a Weapon X freaking tie, and maybe Deadpool will get a cameo again.
That'd be great if they're well. Then that's why I brought up specifically the other thing. My favorite, I love the Weapon storyline across comic book history, just because it is so far-reaching. It taps into all kinds of characters' history that end up being a part of that story, and they're playing with that. It looks like.
Yep. So it'll be curious to see what. In fact, that issue that I just showed probably also going to skyrocket more than it already has.
Yeah, that's already a semi-expensive one, and that's probably going to double, I would guess, when that movie comes out.
So depending upon who breaks out in this film, yeah, it's going to get nuts.
Same with X-Men 4 will probably go up. Just because, and then a couple of Avengers ones will probably go up a little bit too, just because of the Russian factor. I think is going to have some buyouts play a role.
Shall see.
Looks good to begin. It looks good.
It does. Like, I was entertained in the trailer when I saw it.
Yeah.
It's like I saw the trailer like premiere at the movies when I went to the movies this weekend, and it was really entertaining. And I was like, I have no idea who any of these people are. Let's go.
Well, you know who one of them is. You know who one of them is.
Yeah, that's true.
And to be fair, you're probably a lot like everyone else, Stash, because as popular as they want to make these characters, a lot of them are under the wire. I mean, they're. I mean, the Black Widow's sister shows up like in a Black Widow limited series from back in the day. So I mean, these characters are not that mainstream. They're a little obscure.
And it looks like we're not getting a traditional family kind of thing. This looks like it's a Russian government spy family kind of thing going on, where it's a group of people kind of come together, and there's a father figure, a mother figure, and then some kids.
Yeah, we're totally getting Red Room.
Oh, yeah.
So, there you go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, should be good, though.
All right, so other trailers that dropped. While we're on trailers and such. Okay, we had the Star Wars. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say we could do the Star Wars because it's technically Disney still. So you
All right.
nailed it, Bobby.
Star Wars.
I was actually going to say Star Wars Bad Batch.
I know.
Yay!
It is interesting. I didn't expect them to do a really big animated series again after how their last couple were hit and miss for a lot of the time.
I don't know. I don't know if I actually agree with that. I think they have stayed very consistent with their animated series, and they're very good stories. It's top quality.
And hello, Morgana and Sora. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
With Rebels and with, obviously, with Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, Rebels. I mean, Rebels turned out a lot more intricate than I thought it was going to. And we may even see Ezra show up in the Ahsoka live action.
Yeah, potentially.
And we get Bo-Katan, who started in the Clone Wars, get her in Mandalorian, and now we're going to get her in Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Freaking sweet.
Especially even though this is animated, it looks like they're going to kind of keep the storyline intact. So,
well, yeah, this is after the order is called, and it really. I mean, it's kind of an era that we don't have a whole lot of story to go off of. So it's uncharted territory, and they can kind of make it up and fill in some of the blanks, and they could kind of bring in some of the characters everybody knows and loves without it affecting any timeline or any story at all.
And the fact that they're going with the Bad Batch is good, because a lot of people do like those characters from Clone Wars.
They were great when they showed up in the Clone Wars. It was just like, so good.
They have a pretty good following coming out of Clone Wars, so it makes sense for them to go in this direction with Bad Batch.
And they're the only ones that didn't have the chips in them to convert when the order came down. So totally plays well.
What happens to them afterwards, which we have a little bit of history on with the Legends comics, but none of that exists until Disney says it exists, basically, at this point. So,
but I mean, we've got Filoni doing it. So
yes.
If anyone else was doing it, I would be worried. But Dave Filoni has done a spectacular job so far. He is the Star Wars uber nerd. Him and Favreau, they really can't do any wrong in my eyes right now when it comes to Star Wars. So I'm in.
All right, so Tank, with the various Star Wars comic books that have been out there, I mean, I got Dad even one for Christmas. Will Bad Batch be following along the various comic book storylines, or is this going to be creating a brand new story stream?
And that's where I was kind of talking about. They have some connections in the Legends line of comics, but when they first started this Disney version of Star Wars, they basically said nothing in Legends currently exists. That is not part of the story. But as it's progressed within Disney, they've brought in parts of those again.
Okay.
They brought in some of the Legends stuff. They've tied in some of the Legends characters. So there might be some stuff that crosses over, or it could be a whole new story that Filoni just develops.
I have a feeling it's going to be something new, because I think because a lot of the Legend stuff is still over with Dark Horse, and I mean they've kind of and the stories weren't like that intricate; they were kind of more like mentions and stuff. So yeah. I think we're going to get a whole new stories out of this.
Yeah, a lot of the Bad Batch connections to Legends is just mentions.
Yeah,
it's this guy had this happen, and it doesn't really happen on panel. You just kind of get information.
Yeah, through conversation. So we don't ever see it. It's just more rumors and things.
It's kind of similar to what happens with Yaddle. We don't know.
Well,
we get little snippets of story, and then we get an ending to her story, basically, and that's it.
Yeah, when she saves ObiWan and Anakin. Because, we get that final story, but there's a whole lot of stuff in between when... Yeah.
There's a lot of
Clone Wars.
There's a lot of space for them to fill in with this universe.
Okay.
Yes.
Meow Meow Luna, and that ties us into... We've heard some more about ObiWan.
Yeah, lots of... I mean, it's a leak, sort of, but it's kind of a leak just indicating what characters are appearing in the ObiWan series, but we kind of knew that was going to be the case, because essentially this is what happens between episode 3 and episode 4 with ObiWan.
Yeah.
Which we already know some of the characters that exist in that universe, so it makes sense that they're going to show up during the series.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I just read that it was a huge leak, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I want to read this.
Yeah, it's very little actual storyline information.
It's a leak.
Yeah, it's more
it's a very light leak, and honestly, it's the kind that I prefer, because it gives us just enough to, wet our beaks a little bit, but it doesn't, ruin anything for anyone.
Well, yeah, and it's all basically stuff we kind of knew. Well, Ewan McGregor is returning as Obi-Wan, no shit. Hayden Christensen's returning as Vader. That makes sense.
Surprise.
Yeah.
And there's characters that now, I think this is where we're going to start to see the saturation between the Marvel films and the Star Wars films, because they're also scooping a few people up from the Marvel side to go into the Star Wars side. So this will be very, very interesting and entertaining to watch.
Yeah, they're pulling a lot of people that, and we're going to get extra stuff. I think the big question that came out of it is there's no mention of James Earl Jones, and I'm like, well, I'm assuming that they're going to have him do some voiceover work based on how the third episode 3 ended, because he was speaking Vader's voice.
Yeah, and James Earl Jones has already said that he will always speak for Vader.
Yeah,
he will.
The big question is he's 90. It's well, yeah, but he was just in a movie.
Yeah. I mean, granted, he laid in bed through all of it, but that's fine. I mean, there's things in his contract the same as Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
They will voice their characters
and that's all it is.
Until they can't anymore.
All they have to do is stick him in a studio, into a studio, and say, hey, say these lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tony Daniels is the same thing. Anthony Daniels, C-3PO.
I mean, and really, if James Earl Jones has to breathe a little heavier while he's saying those lines, it just adds to the authenticity.
Well, and it's going to be curious because the other story that kind of came out of this was the Star Wars Luke Skywalker series.
Yeah.
And Sebastian Bach playing... Sebastian Bach.
That would be amazing. A Sebastian Bach Luke Skywalker. It seems a little dark.
Sebastian Stan.
Seems a little dark that they go with Sebastian Bach.
Oh my god, that would be awesome though. He could sing a ballad in his X-Wing as he's flying through, explosions.
Sebastian Stan as
Sebastian Stan is Luke Skywalker. I'd be curious to see how they're going to really approach this, because I mean the makeup kind of looks like Luke. He can do it. I know Mark Hamill's totally propping him up and this is great, and he's excited to see it, and he's even given Sebastian pointers of what and where the Luke character was at that point. So
it's a possibility. The question is, would Disney take one of the big characters, known characters from this universe, especially following Falcon and Winter Soldier, and take that same actor and say, yes, you're also going to be one of the biggest characters in the universe?
What do they got to lose?
I mean, he's already under contract for them.
Might as well
He's
just
only
take
under
advantage of it.
contract with Marvel at this point.
Good. Disney is Disney, dude.
I believe his contract is still connected to the Marvel Studios contract. It's not a Disney one, I don't think.
There then comes new contract negotiations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to keep doing Winter Soldier? Not only will we give you Winter Soldier, but we're going to give you Star Wars as well.
Because I believe his
we will own your soul.
His contract was for 8 appearances or 9 appearances, something like that.
Woo! Sharon is watching. Hello, my cousin. Sorry.
As Bucky
Really
Barnes
excited.
/ Winter Soldier. So we'll see. Maybe. And like you said, they could just do it. Like, yeah, he's a known face, but it's a completely different character. So
yeah. I don't think you're going to get anyone else that looks like a young Mark Hamill.
Not really.
Sebastian Stan surprisingly does.
Yeah.
Right?
That was weird when they put the comparison up. I was like, wow, I never even looked at it like that. That is very close.
Yeah. It's like, okay. So I'll be excited to see it. Other trailers that landed, and this one I'm excited to see, and I'm curious how much they have in the gate, is the Rick and Morty trailer. Rick and Morty is running for the record. They're gonna kick Family Guy in the nuts as they run by to freaking stab Simpsons in the back.
God,
I don't know, man.
Season. Family Guy has been on way too long.
Family Guy has been on way too long, but so has Simpsons. Is way outstayed their welcome.
33 years for The Simpsons? Is this season 33 or 32?
32.
Okay.
32.
All right.
So we've got.
All right. I'm
Simpsons
going to
on
find a weapon in my room and kill myself now.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, at
It's
least
that fucking old.
it is that old, and at least South Park has been kind of limited as far as how much they put in or out, I guess. But you know what? I'm excited to see Rick and Morty's just off the wall.
Yeah.
Craziness.
For those who don't know what Smurf is talking about here, they had already signed a very, very long contract.
Very extensive.
They just doubled it.
Yep.
So we're getting 20 seasons of Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
I
was.
Yeah. They're contracted for 20. Yeah.
Well, they stopped. Well, there was that gap where the creators of Rick and Morty just stopped because they didn't have a contract, and they're like, "Well, we're not under contract. We're not going to create any more product. We're done. We're out until you give us a contract. Fuck you." So then they came back and gave them kind of a little extension, and now they've come back and given them like the South Park deal of all deals, and they're like, "Here you go. Here's the keys. Here's the farm. Fucking lock up when you're done."
The first couple were, I think they gave them a 1 year, and then another one, and then another one, and then they're like, "Okay, we'll make it 10 total," and it ended up being a 10-year total contract. So they got like 7 additional years or whatever it was. And then they did 2 more seasons. They finished 2 more seasons, and then they just hit them with a 10-year extension on top of the existing 7. So
I can't imagine they can keep it up for that long.
So,
I can't either.
we can do it.
So
I don't.
our
Very chaotic people, Dan Harmon especially.
True.
So
But
our viewer Luna says the fact that South Park only still exists out of pure spite and experimentation and annoyance is beautiful.
it's true. Yeah.
To a certain extent, that's accurate.
I want my shot. But I mean, to Fox's point, I agree 100% because the way that Rick and Morty are kind of structured it's not like it's a satirical shot at everything that's going on. There's kind of like there's an actual progression in story that they're trying to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Like overarching.
Yeah. How many times can like Rick alienate his daughter and then win her back before that?
Yeah. And how many different things can he put up Morty's ass?
I don't know how many.
That's probably unlimited.
How many times can Homer be unemployed? How many
you
times
know what?
can you kill
Simpsons?
Kenny?
How many times can Lisa turn, 7?
That's the thing about animated stuff. Like, you will get rehashes, you will get reinventions, you will get all
and this
kinds of
is
stuff.
why the what is it? Most of the characters on cartoons, the male characters, are voiced by women, is because they want them to be able to be voiced by the same artists for long periods of time. And if they're voiced by young male actors, those young men will eventually hit puberty and will no longer be able to voice that character.
Well, and the good news with Rick and Morty, the voices are already done by grown men.
Mm-hmm.
They're those are characters they can play. Like they're existing people that have been doing it for the last 5 years. That
they're not going anywhere.
Their voices aren't going to change. They're like 30 something and 40 something years old.
Mm-hmm. Unless one starts to becoming like a chain smoker and just completely goes downhill.
I'm fairly certain one of them already is a chain smoker.
Well, I mean, but
the issue I have with this many seasons is Rick and Morty is like deeply satirical of science fiction. Mm-hmm. And if they keep this up, I mean, they're eventually going to be reaching the bottom of the barrel on what they can talk about that is still going to be mainstream enough to appeal to like the widespread science fiction audiences. Because there are episodes they've done now that I just don't understand because I didn't see the source material.
Yeah, but they got
like
80 years of source material.
No, they have more than that, but...
Well, I mean, like, easily you could tap into way into the 40s, easily. You go all the way back. And, they have enough, and it more than anything, it'll probably make people do what they normally do, which is, where does that come from? And then they'll go pick up a book or go watch an old movie.
Pick up a book.
That's adorable.
Some people pick up books. It's weird.
I do.
I'm going to just put that hashtag pick up a book.
Hashtag pick up a book.
You guys could joke about it, but modern cinema has somehow done that with classic literature to a certain extent. They have a tendency to push people towards old stuff. Like, even look at the Marvel Universe. It's almost impossible to find older graphic novels or old paperbacks, old trades. You cannot find them anymore because so many people watching WandaVision or, any of the Avengers movies go and buy all of that stuff. They go buy it. And these are things that are hundreds of thousands of copies, and you can't find them anymore. So somebody's buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Collectors.
Not just collectors. I mean, yes, definitely collectors, but not just collectors. I'm being hopeful. Okay, I'm hoping people will pick up books at some point.
I would absolutely love that. I'm just not sure.
Or even go watch an old movie.
There are readers that are hosts on this podcast. There are readers that I know are currently listening to this podcast. So for those of you who are readers, pick up a book while you're listening to this podcast. But first, finish this podcast and then pick up a book. Also, subscribe and share this podcast and tell other people to pick up a book after they subscribe and share this podcast.
If you need suggestions, reach out to this podcast.
Yeah.
We'll be more than happy.
I'm sure the combined efforts of the five of us will probably be able to lead you in a certain direction.
Oh, don't you worry.
We will not lead you in a certain direction. We will lead you in a multi-pronged path of amazingness.
To the promised land.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my word, can we tell you the books? I feel like quoting, "Oh, the places you'll go," but we have so many more things. Because when you read, you go places, and
No,
it's...
stop.
We have other shit to talk about. Let's move on.
Yeah, go on. Move on.
Okay. Okay, so other shit that we've done. Let's talk about movies, because movies are better than books.
Fuck you. How?
We watched...
Which movie are you talking about now?
We watched Godzilla versus Kong this weekend.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
And
Oh.
I watched this movie because I had to.
All right. Before I go anywhere, Stash,
Yes.
you're the resident kaiju fanatic.
I am indeed.
What's up?
Fucking goddamn Mecha Godzilla. I hated his fucking design so much. Made me so angry. It's like, I do like that Mecha Godzilla was a badass because in some of the movies, Mecha Godzilla is fucking scary strong.
Oh, yeah.
The fact he's made by people, what the... I was really hoping they were going to go the alien angle, and I'm very disappointed that they did not. But, I mean, the movie is fine, honestly. I hate to say that. I was expecting more, but I was expecting more. It's like I'm not disappointed, but I'm not really happy about it either. It's like,
I'm a little disappointed.
It's exactly what it was shown to be.
I know.
I thought it would have maybe a little more ambition to it, but
Ambition in what sense? Let me ask you that.
Because there was a lot of ambition in that movie.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they delivered and quite. Well, you guys saw Godzilla King of the Monsters, right?
That was awesome. Yes.
That movie was great. It's like, it was really good because everyone expected it to be super bad. But it was really good. And that is a great movie to have right before this. And this just doesn't hit the peaks that movie did.
And it's unfortunate because I also enjoyed Bull Island a lot more also than I did this King Kong versus Godzilla.
Me too.
I enjoyed the origins of the stories way more than the combined effort.
I
Ding, ding,
agree.
ding, ding, ding. Tank nailed it on the head.
It's like, I think the problem was a lot of this was there was a lot of bullshit filler with the people, the humans. And
But I really liked the little girl.
Sorry?
I really liked the little girl.
11?
No, not
Yes.
11. 11 was a dipshit.
The other little girl?
Yeah,
King Kong's
the
friend?
deaf little girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought she
The
did a
deaf
very
girl
good
with the
job.
headband.
She was about the only interesting human character in the movie.
Right.
I
This was
agree. I
This
was
is her
gonna
first
say,
film.
if you liked 11 and her little dipshit, you're an idiot.
Yeah, that
No,
was,
11 was a dipshit. And what was that other kid in?
Deadpool.
He was in Deadpool.
Thank you. He's the one with the prison wallet.
Yeah, he Fire Fist.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which we
I
hated.
was thinking the same thing. It took me
That's why I hated him.
Yeah,
Because we hated him in Deadpool.
it's true.
Worst part
Yeah.
of that movie.
Yeah. I thought 11 was a dipshit, and I thought her little prison wallet friend was also a cunt.
But I did really like the podcast guy.
No, podcast guy was not a complete waste
terrible.
of space.
Yeah.
But the only human I enjoyed was the deaf girl.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I do feel like her mom was fine too, but
She
I
just
didn't
seemed to
dislike
be
her mom. I
Yeah.
didn't like her mom.
She was there to translate. She really didn't serve a purpose.
Not much.
Exactly. That's why she was good. That's what
No, she wasn't good.
Get in the way of the story? Is that what you're saying?
No.
We just want
Again,
people to translate what's going on and more monster fights.
This is why you watch it with subtitles. Then you don't need a translator.
They needed to translate some other parts of that movie.
Again,
like,
subtitles.
Once again, why the fuck was Mechagodzilla made in an underground laboratory in Hong Kong?
I don't know.
Hello,
there
it
was
was
a lot
explained
of
to you.
issues.
Mechagodzilla was made in the underground laboratory to piss off real Godzilla because the dumb bitch who went to the under planet lost world place.
Middle Earth.
Yeah, there.
Called Hollow.
It's called Hollow Earth, yeah.
Whatever.
Middle Earth.
But
In the middle of Earth. Middle Earth.
But that dumb bitch's father, yeah, Luna, I agree. Subtitles for the win. But that bitch's dad wanted to be the ruler of all of the monsters. And so he created, you know, the Mechagodzilla so that way he could challenge real Godzilla. But Mechagodzilla was actually just a big, stupid, he should have been run by the Power Rangers, and then maybe he wouldn't have lost so bad.
That's the problem. I completely understood what they were doing with the story. I just also understand that they basically just pissed on their odds.
Yeah, they did.
He seriously...
That's not that story. That is not what makes Mechagodzilla interesting.
It's not at all. It's like Mechagodzilla is one of the most interesting kaiju.
Yes.
Because of what he is. And
but he looked
I
like...
was so disappointed. And his design was just so weird. But I will say, like, the special effects in their fight with Mechagodzilla were very, very impressive.
In the fight with Godzilla, I agree with that. The fight with Godzilla when it was the two of them.
But what Mechagodzilla ended up looking like was Ultrazord in the original
Power Rangers.
My issue was that the other fight scenes, there was a lot of blur. There was a lot of missed CGI. There was a lot of
I had to watch everything on my tablet because that's the only device I have HBO Max on. So there was a lot of blur on everything.
I watched it on a big ass TV with some ridiculous high definition, and I was still like, "What is happening here?"
Okay, so I thought I may have been crazy because I experienced the same thing.
No,
and I thought it might have just been my TV, but my TV is 4K and has pretty high refresh rates, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Same here. I have a 2-year-old Sony Bravia 950. It is ridiculously good video quality, and I still was like, "What the fuck is happening in this fight right now?"
I'm so glad because I'll be honest, I was like, "What the fuck just happened?" All right, action, just go.
Yeah, there was a lot of ghosting and dot crawl, and I don't know if their processing just wasn't up to par. My issue was, I mean, I get they had to kind of piece together because they couldn't do the space angle for Mechagodzilla, which was sad.
I agree.
They took two different stories and kind of mashed them together because Mechagodzilla deserves his own story because that is its own story.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Kong versus Godzilla fight, which is its own story. Mm-hmm. So to take these two and mash them together was ambitious, but it was just kind of like, meh. I mean, at least there was more monster fights, but it was the fights that really annoyed me because it looked more like wrestling. I don't think Mechagodzilla is going to take Godzilla through the turnbuckle as he rams him, over and over again. Yeah, into a building. Okay? He's not going to pile drive him. I mean, I know, like, the old school Godzilla films, there were some, like, wrestling moves, especially when Godzilla would get all hyped up and like run at him and do the the people's elbow or the fly on his tail maneuver. But
that is such an awesome GIF. Have you ever seen like people post that GIF at random places?
Yes,
it's super satisfying to see.
I actually didn't mind the first fight.
The first fight was good, but then the last time we saw Godzilla and King Kong fight was 1946, and the Godzilla suit was way under par. I mean, super under par, because all of Godzilla's stuff, or all of King Kong stuff, was more, effects and forced photography and stuff like that. There wasn't really a suit for King Kong. So, in the whole story, he gets stronger with lightning and blah, 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 blah. Fine, get it. But that was the better fight, especially when they put him in the water.
Oh, he drowned his ass.
He kicked his ass.
Yeah, Godzilla kicked the shit out of him as soon as they hit the water. I was like, this is great.
I think we all agree, watching King Kong just get wrecked was so satisfying.
It was.
And to be fair, that was probably the only way that they could kind of like even the score as far as the playing field, because each one's got its advantages on the land, and we saw that when they went to Tokyo, and that's all I could think. As soon as I went to Tokyo, all I had was that fucking song. Oh no! There goes Tokyo! Go, go, Godzilla! That's all I could fucking hear during this whole fight. And I'm just like, oh, fucking hell. Oh,
and the second fight, the thought process of the second fight was good. And, having King Kong come back or beating the shit out of him, good storyline.
Yeah.
The problem is that they fucked up how they shot it, or they fucked up the CG. I'm not sure what.
I think it was
part of the process.
The rendering. It is probably the rendering,
but
most likely
they made it, like you said, like ghosting nonstop, and I'm like blurring nonstop. I'm like, I have a TV that can keep up this.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening?
Yep. So I mean, it could have been a lot worse. It could have been like the original Godzilla, where it was, shot like Cloverfield, where all we got were humans and the buildings are collapsing around them as the fight happens.
What are you talking about? Like the one with Matthew Broderick was so much better than this one?
No.
I'm kidding.
No.
Good, no.
But I did like Skull Island better than this one, to be completely realistic.
Oh, I like
Skull Island was a better movie.
Yeah.
Like overall,
Hollow Earth with King Kong going through the Hollow Earth stuff, that was cool. I like.
No, actually, I did really like the Hollow Earth bit, and when he like ripped the head off of the snake thing with the wings, and then when
sucks the brains out.
Yeah, and she was all like, "Ew, that's gross," and I'm like, "Really, bitch? Get over it. Monster eats monster."
Yeah. That part of the story was cool.
Godzilla's an omnivore, King Kong's an omnivore, so he eats whatever the fuck he can.
Isn't Godzilla also an omnivore?
Godzilla technically doesn't eat.
Yeah.
He just absorbs radiation for sustenance.
He eats bleach, according to this movie.
No, Godzilla doesn't eat bleach. The podcaster eats bleach.
That's true. And he showers.
He showers in bleach.
And eats it and lives in it. Like bleach is sustenance, my friend.
So my question that I walked away with is, what's going on with Skull Island?
As far as I know, it's abandoned. Yeah. He already killed the Queen's Skull Crusher, so that's my problem. Is no one knows where those eggs came from, because they should pretty much be dead by now.
Yeah, I would think so. Exactly. So I was like,
I don't know what's happening with Skull Island, and how do you know that Skull Island is abandoned? And what happened to all the people that were on Skull Island? And
they explain that they all died in a storm.
Yeah, it was like a superstorm.
Yeah, and then
like a typhoon.
Yeah, then
I don't remember that.
Came and established the base on Skull Island.
Yeah.
So, they would have killed any skull crushers that were running around.
I would think, at least so that they wouldn't be like in like test tubes and carry on luggage. I mean, I don't get where all of a sudden we've got all these skull crushers coming from. So I'm like, all right.
I don't know. Maybe they wanted them for a hat.
Well, and I get the buddy up at the end of the movie. I won't fight that. That was going to happen in this story.
Well, of course it was.
Yeah, but it makes me hope that wasn't the real Mechagodzilla. That was just this bullshit human version of it, and we're gonna get an actual Mechagodzilla.
That's what I think as well.
So,
but I'm also worried that in one of the bonus scenes or the last movie's bonus scene, the weird eco guy has the other skull. And I'm worried that he's going to try and take over Mechagodzilla, but we'll see. I really hope that we have the aliens come in because that's the most interesting Mechagodzilla art. And I want Gamera.
Okay, here's the thing.
That would be sick, but I don't think we'll get him.
If you think we get the real Mechagodzilla in the next one, do you think that Godzilla and Kong will partner up against actual Mecha?
No. I think they're going their separate ways playing.
Yeah, and that's why I think it would be.
But at the end of this one, they were all like, "Hey, bro, we chill."
It was not of acknowledgement. That's what it was. And it's I'm gonna stay out of your, you stay out of my space, and we'll just keep moving forward. Like,
and Kong goes to Middle Earth, and that's why Mechagodzilla.
And then because in Middle Earth, he can have second breakfast.
Yes.
And everybody knows that second breakfast and 11Zs are awesome.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're only laughing because it's funny.
I'm really curious to see where they go, and I also wonder if Mothra's coming back.
Oh, Mothra can be like killed with a flashlight and a fly swatter.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Mothra is Mothra always comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dr. Doolittle will build a big saddle and ride him from the moon.
I actually want him. My more interesting thought is how are they going to set up the next King Kong? Because there's definitely going to be another one.
Yeah.
So how are they going to do that?
I don't know.
What's going to happen inside the Hollow Earth?
Well, I think there's more to Kong's family in the Hollow Earth.
Right, because
he goes to
the throne.
Because he says that it's home.
Yep.
And if it's home, then that means that he has family. Right? And if he's going to have family there.
The remnants of family.
Right, because the little girl tells him that he may have family there.
Yeah.
You know, or at least friends.
Well, and that whole team is still with Kong. They go to...
Right, because they set up a whole base camp down there.
Mm-hmm. So we could see Skarsgård, the little deaf girl, and as everyone keeps popping off on the internet of how much they love her, I would not be surprised.
I like that little girl.
No, and for her first film, she did absolutely spectacular.
I thought she did really, really good.
Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if they build the next platform for the film for Kong, at least with those three characters and them exploring the Hollow Earth. I honestly expecting them to run across more powerful creatures.
Some other kaiju.
I was curious about is you saw the bones that Kong grabbed when he was floating in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
The hand. It's like that hand was enormous. It dwarfed him, and I was just like,
"But here's the thing,
Jesus Christ!"
Kong
that part of
this.
But here's the thing, Kong still isn't full grown.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I don't think he is.
Yeah. At this point in the way they've kind of laid it out, this is as big as he's going to get.
I don't think it is.
Oh, I mean, they could go bigger, but it'd be weird.
I think he can still get bigger, especially now that he's in Hollow Earth. And, you know, if he's going to have second breakfast.
Oh, there's weird gravity there. It makes you grow taller.
You know, I think that he is going to get bigger down there.
I don't think he is.
We'll see.
I think he's going to get more fierce and more intelligent.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's already signing, which was great. That was a nice little twist.
Dude, when the mom, like, how long has he been communicating with you? And she's all like, he didn't want you to know because you're a snitch.
I'm genuinely curious to see where they go. That's like, there was some cool stuff in this film.
Yeah.
And there was also some very... Oh, God.
You're upside down, bud.
Stupid phone. It won't reset Zoom.
All right. So, all right, a lot of stuff is going on, but let's move on past Kong, and let's move over to PlayStation.
Yikes.
All
right.
Less PlayStation and more Xbox.
Yeah,
all right,
Xbox.
so
Yeah, that was
okay.
a big FU.
So
Tony's mouth this week.
So Tank, would you like to explain what happened?
I think Microsoft has been playing games the last few years, apparently, because they've been trying to play nice. Seemingly, they've been playing nice. And like, oh, we'll share stuff. Yeah, cross-platform. We'll do that. And Sony offers up its own
So
game.
what you're saying is they were being mean girls.
That's what it seemed like. Like, they set up, Sony gave them one of their biggest IPs and said, yeah, go ahead. We'll share it with you. I'm sure there is some monetary compensation that they wanted for that, and I'm sure that happened.
There's no doubt.
But Xbox, in response, apparently, of them finally getting MLB The Show on their console, has decided to put it on their Game Pass for free on launch day. So, nice big dick slap from Microsoft on this one.
I mean, we knew. I mean, that's what they've been building towards this whole time, and all their money is going for improving Game Pass. And like, Microsoft had to pay a pretty substantial amount in order to secure this.
I'm guessing it was a lot. If they had the balls to make that move, I'm guessing it was a big, big payday for Sony on the other end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, that studio isn't owned by Sony.
Sony San Diego Studios. That's the name of it.
It's like one of their really close partners, but they still have a level of autonomy. So, like, they were getting paid for the exclusivity rights for PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it's like they gave that money up so they could broaden it more. But the thing about games like that is they don't make their money off the initial purchase. They make their game off microtransactions. All sports games are like that.
Eventually, yes. A big chunk of them, especially with the show, because their aftermarket stuff, they're like buying cards and stuff like that in the game, is a huge component of the game. But still, to basically just fucking bitch slapped him with that. Like,
okay,
yeah, we're gonna take one of your IP and we're gonna make it free. So fuck you, PlayStation.
So I want to know if the appropriate hashtag here is hashtag dick slap or hashtag fuck you.
It's probably dick slap.
Probably dick slap.
Yeah.
Because, as we go through and record the podcast, I take my little notes, and then Smurf and I do a little offline, like, tappy tap, and we figure out how we're going to share everything.
I mean, I guess you could say, like, hashtag raw dog no lube.
Wow.
That's the one we're going to use, Tank.
Because that's what this move was. This was huge. Like,
wow,
to do that and throw it on the Game Pass like that, that fucks PlayStation.
Hashtag raw dog no lube.
But the amount of damage by that one move for Sony, we'll see. Like, that's a big one.
Yeah, I told you it was coming. We knew it was coming.
I mean, we're going to hit him like that?
Yes. Why wouldn't they?
Need to do.
They want the finishing blow. They want the fatality. They want one more notch on the fucking bedpost. That way they can say, that's one less person we got to worry about.
That's
more money for that.
I disagree with that, Smurf.
I don't think
they're trying to kill Sony. I just think they're trying to make an overwhelming value proposition to where they can supplement Sony completely, to where it's no longer you have one or the other, you need both.
You know, and PlayStation is going to have to respond.
It's like they're working at it.
Well, and Xbox this came. Was this before or after? No, I think it was before Xbox announced their games with gold, which was a bag of garbage again, and they started getting feedback from Xbox Live people. I think that's part of why the announcement happened. I'm sure that's part of it. Is they don't do good games on their games with gold thing anymore. It's just doesn't exist really.
Yeah,
so
because they want you to do the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I played
so they said, okay, for all of you people complaining about our games with gold, here's our Game Pass. And here's a new game that we've never had before, and you get it for free.
Well, they just did the same thing with Outriders.
Mm-hmm.
Outriders came out on Friday, and it came out day one on Game Pass.
Yeah, but that was not a Sony exclusive, move over.
No, it wasn't,
Xbox.
but I mean, I'm just saying this is the angle they're going to start pushing.
Yeah, and they're doing it right, I guess. But
they're going to put Sony in a corner.
Yeah,
they are going to put Sony in a corner, and they're going to fuck them.
Nobody put Sony in the corner.
Nobody put Sony in the corner.
Lots of people put Sony in a corner, and then apparently raw dogged them with no lube.
That's right.
Yeah.
The one thing PlayStation has had two things going for them in the recent history, and that is they have really good exclusives.
Yes, they do.
And they give good games on their Plus Pass. Like your free games with them are always really good games usually.
If you give good game on your first date, then you don't get raw dogged with no lube.
Well, they did.
They still did.
Yeah. So that really does. It puts PlayStation in a situation where they're going to basically have to do the same thing with their PlayStation Now program, I'm assuming.
I don't think they will.
They won't.
Yeah,
that's a loss.
It's already a loss.
They
don't want a further loss.
Sony is extremely successful the way they are right now, and Microsoft is making all these moves, but PlayStation doesn't have to make those moves right now. Until they really start feeling the pressure from Microsoft, I don't think they're going to get this aggressive.
Well, that was a big one, though. Like, there's been
that was a very big one. Everyone was like, wow.
No, it was shots fired.
Yeah.
It was shots fired. Don't kid yourself.
That actively turned a lot of PlayStation users against Sony. Like,
yeah. Have you been
what the fuck?
All the people pissed off that they have to pay for it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty awesome. It's kind of fucked up overall, but at the same time, it's
I stepped
funny.
away for like 2 seconds, and all I'm thinking is now you have to pay for the raw dog with no lube. So obviously I missed something.
I mean,
well, PlayStation has to pay for the game that's exclusive to their console, or was exclusive until this year to their console.
Mm.
And Xbox doesn't. They get it with their Game Pass.
Okay. I'm with you now.
It's like I'm really curious. Like I don't know what this means. This could mean it either
War!
further apart, or it means they could just actually start doing trades like this. And it's like I really personally would like the trades, but
so it's trade or else is basically that line of logic right
We are
there.
either in trade or we are in battle.
Yeah, like this is a definite move towards, okay, you better start working with us even more, or we're going to fuck you harder.
yeah.
You are either with us or you are against us.
Yeah,
I mean,
Xbox just John Wick PlayStation.
I feel like this is all good times for my inner drama kid to come out.
Why?
yeah.
Because
I feel like
I want to take the swords down off my walls and like Perry riposte. Or it could be the bottle of wine on a donut for dinner.
Yeah, I'm thinking the wine.
I'm thinking it's the wine.
But yeah, so that was the big
But
FU moment.
Molly posted a box of donuts on her Facebook page, and so I went to King Soopers and got a box of donuts for the household for dinner, and then I drank a bottle of wine.
That's a weird dinner.
That is a weird dinner. But you
I
know
mean,
what? Bob?
You're
You
adulting
live
well.
your best life.
That's right. You're adulting well.
You know
Yeah.
what? I had cereal for breakfast.
Congratulations.
There you go. All right.
It was
So-
Cheerios.
I mean, you ate more than Fox.
Cheerios are adult cereal.
Fox is either fallen asleep or left the call.
Okay.
Which.
So,
I am very, very tired, but I have to be on my bed because this is the only place I have access to an outlet, and my phone's gonna die. But
another
I
amazing
almost can't keep my eyes open.
Fox, if you need to go to bed, then we will judge you harshly, but understand.
But we won't be there to put shit in your hair or draw on your face.
Sure.
Well, that sounds like a win-win, actually.
However, I will contemplate putting things in your butt.
I'm pretty sure you already do that.
Yeah, but now you
That's
know
a
about
Tuesday.
it.
That's a rather aggressive move if you sleep.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Yeah, okay. See, here's the thing. Fox has the happy when he knows that I want to put things in his butt. Okay?
Fox, is that true?
It is true.
All right.
So this is me giving Fox good dreams. Okay?
And on that note,
On that
I'm
note,
outta
Fox,
here.
say goodnight.
see you, losers.
Okay. Speaking of good dreams, Batman, The Long Halloween, has chosen one of my beautiful dreams to be the voice of Bruce Wayne. The incredibly sexy and super talented Jensen Ackles.
Well, it looks like he's picking up the comic book work, and that's where he's going right now.
You know,
Between
he's
the boys and Batman. Looks like
he's playing what is it, Soldier Boy in The Boys.
Correct.
And there is talk about him having a cameo role in whatever fucking Walker, Texas Ranger show.
Well, of course he is. His boy's over there. I mean, that's
Right.
a no-brainer.
And they're best friends and godfathers to each other's children, and
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
Like-
And I wouldn't be surprised if Jeffrey Dean Morgan shows up. And,
15
we get
years
the
of
whole
doing a
crew.
show together, like you become like conjoined, like it's just a thing. But he is going to be the voice of Batman, and I truly feel that this is the right choice. I think that when he does like his deep gravelly voice, like it is perfect for Batman. But he can also do like this more like snobbery voice that works for Bruce Wayne.
Well, and The Long Halloween is honestly one of my favorite stories for Batman. So I've been anticipating this one coming out for a while. And to have them actually choose, sort of a newer actor to go in a slightly different direction with it, maybe it'll work out.
Yeah, I mean, because this is going to be one of Jensen Ackles' newer directions to go with voice acting.
Yeah.
Well, and Tim Sale, when he brought the Long Halloween out, it was, I mean, everybody loved the story. And there's so many elements to the story. The Joker is absolutely priceless. Catwoman is spectacular. Just the way this whole story is built and comes together at the end, it's like The Dark Knight. Why did it take so long to do this story? Because it's a benchmark. It is absolutely stunning. Tim Sale's pencils and all of the choreography that went into this story is brilliant.
And honestly, the voice cast that they have for this, like for me, looks incredible. They have Josh Duhamel as Harvey Dent. And for me, I think that is an excellent choice.
That's a good move, yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. No, because when I look at the cast, I could see like the animated series. I could see the whole cast of Batman the Animated Series coming to do the Long Halloween.
That would be cool too.
There is. I mean, I'm not disapproving of their choices for voice actors, but I honestly think that this one, it would have suited the animated series so well that I think this is a mistake. As much as I love Jensen Ackles, and I think he's probably the best choice for Batman of the Batman voice actors out there, but Kevin Conroy and his crew doing this, especially if we had Mark Hamill doing Joker's voice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And even like Selena and Gordon, and just to have all of them back again.
I understand what you're saying, but
you don't care because you love Jensen Ackles.
No. Okay, it's not just that I love Jensen. It's not just that. And I'm sorry, if you've ever heard that man sing, I really want to see him on Broadway. I'm just going to throw that out there. But
I have had him sing and sing. Supernatural Con, I have been to, yes.
Okay, and I actually have tickets for the Supernatural Con that's happening in Denver in October. Just throwing that out there. But the cast that they have for this, I think it's a really good cast.
I'm not arguing that. I agree.
I actually haven't heard who is doing Joker for this one.
Let me run through the list. Okay, Jensen as Bruce, Naya Riviera as Catwoman, Josh Duhamel as Harvey.
Which, that's an interesting one, because that was recorded a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Burke as James Gordon, Titus Oliveira as Carmine, Troy Baker as Joker.
Oh, interesting. I don't like that at all. It's like, I don't mind Troy Baker as a voice actor, but I don't think he fits Joker, or at least the Jokers I enjoy.
To be fair, the Joker in Long Halloween is a little more sinister. He's not crazy. He's menacing, and he's very sinister, and he's very methodical in his plan.
Yeah, it's a lot less of a chaotic Joker.
Yeah. So it's not like Joker that we have. It's really not a Joker that we have seen.
So more of a chaotic evil as opposed to like chaotic neutral. Sorry.
Kind of. He's got
no. He's like more super villainy.
Mm-hmm.
Like very, almost
he's
like
got a plan.
Boss, evil.
He's got a plan.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how close they follow the story. Because if you have not read Long Halloween, I think it. Tank, is it still, or is it on hiatus for trade right now? Is it still unavailable?
I haven't seen them recently, but I'm sure you can find them.
The important question is, Tank, do you have a copy?
He probably does not.
I do not currently have a Long Halloween right now for trade. I don't.
Not for trade, but in your own possession.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't have any trade copy. I don't have any copies of the trade for Long Halloween.
Oh.
I know.
Well, I didn't know if you had one in your own personal possession for like.
Not right now, no.
Not one that you were going to share.
It's not that I can think of. It's possible because I did buy a decent amount of Batman graphic novels recently, so it's possible, but not that I remember seeing. So I'm going to say no.
Well, you know what?
It's worth the read.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is worth the read. It is a great story.
It is.
It's 13 comics? Is that what it was? 13 books, right?
I thought it was 12, but maybe 13. I don't know.
It would make more sense as 13.
Well, it went a full year. It went like a full, unless there was like a zero in there, which there might have been.
But see, I also thought it would make more sense for Supernatural to end at season 13 because, 13. But they said that they were going to continue as long as the boys wanted to do it, which is why it lasted till season 15. But I still thought it would have made more sense to end at 13 because Supernatural and 13 and what do I know? But I did get to end. Yeah, no. It should have ended at 6 because that's when the seasons started to suck. However, I have got to sit in Baby, which means my ass has been where their asses have been.
But there is a 1 through 12, and I think there was a 0. I think that's why it's 13. There was a 0.
Because there was a 0, like a free comic book day or an Ash Can or something like that came with something else, and I think it was a black and yellow cover.
That sounds right.
If memory stirs.
Yeah, and it's the same like the Zero. There's kind of little bits of information, but
yeah,
the main series itself is a 12-issue run, a full year run for Batman at that point, and it's a great story.
It is. It really is. Stash, you should read it. You really should. I think you would like it.
Yeah, it's
Good luck.
Very mental.
Very noir. Very mental. Very noir. Very intricate.
Now, here's the question. How much of the pages are words and how much of the pages are pictures? Because if the pages are more than 50% pictures, the Sash will not read it.
See, this is the thing. Like,
that's not true.
Robbie grossly exaggerates my dislike for comics. Grossly exaggerates them. They are not my preference.
Well, you've read Watchmen, right, Stash?
No, he has not.
I read most of Watchmen.
Okay.
It's like I actually had to study it in college for a creative writing class.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I haven't read the rest of it, but
I really think you would like Long Halloween. It's not as dry as Watchmen is in some points, and the story moves very, very well. It's very lucid.
Yes, it's just a great story.
It is.
Take it out. Don't even consider it a comic book. If you get the trade paperback, treat it like a novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a very good story.
Yeah, I don't think you want to hunt down the particular issues. That's gonna be
expensive
difficult
and impossible at this point.
Yeah, it's damn near impossible.
Especially with that, and this fresh in the mind of collectors, it's going to be even more impossible. So
yeah,
in fact, I may even crack out my Long Halloween action figures that came out back in the day. Joker comes with a Santa hat. It's fucking awesome.
I had a few of those when I was a kid. Yeah,
Awesome.
But all right. I'll look into it and see if I can find it somewhere convenient.
And Tim Sale does the art, which is really obscure. You like the Turtles art? It kind of leans towards that abstract kind of way that I think you would appreciate it.
Okay. I'll take a gander.
Take a look. What else we got, Bobby?
All right. We have a couple more trailers to talk about. Wrath of Man.
Oh.
Yes.
That looks like it's going to be fun.
All right. So here's the thing. As all of our loyal listeners know, Smurf has very strong feelings about Tom Cruise. Those feelings are the exact opposite of how he feels about Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie is the man. He is everything Quentin Tarantino wishes he was. All right, the dialogue that he delivers.
No shots at Tarantino.
The cinematography is on point. It is awesome. Guy Ritchie is spot on. Totally with it.
See, for me, they're like two sides of the same coin for me, a little bit.
Yeah,
no,
so
I can see that.
I feel like it is safe to say all of the negatives that Smurf feels about Cruise are the equivalent of the positives he feels about Ritchie.
Yes, probably.
Yay! Guy Ritchie.
Again, another leading role for Jason Statham.
We're glad that Smurf is currently in the seated position. Otherwise, you would see what he feels about this Wrath of Man trailer.
But yeah, Wrath of Man looks good. It's another revenge story for Jason Statham, which he's pretty good at those. So
yeah,
he is. He really is.
He's believable. I mean,
yeah.
Why not let him do it? I mean, and you know what? Guy Ritchie is loyal to his crew as Tarantino is to his. I mean, face it. Everybody that he has worked with usually appears in his films.
Oh yeah, we're gonna. I haven't looked at the full cast list, but I'm assuming that we're gonna see a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just pissed. Bullet Tooth Tony probably won't show up, because I think he's in prison again, which is kind of sad.
I believe you're right on that, actually.
Because I love Bullet Tooth Tony. But I mean, just the crew that guy works with they deliver some good stuff. And Statham, you know what? And to be honest with you, Statham does a spectacular job with whatever he shows up on camera.
He is really talented.
Yeah.
Looking at the cast list right now, we actually have some new faces.
A few.
We're getting Scott Eastwood, Post Malone.
Post Malone? Really?
Yeah, Josh Hartnett, Jeffrey Donovan.
Does Josh Hartnett really count as a new face?
For Guy Ritchie?
For Guy Ritchie films, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Laz Alonso, Montana Manning. Yeah, there's actually a lot of new faces here. So he might be going outside his normal box a little bit.
I'm fine with that. I wish he would do another Sherlock film.
Which actually, isn't that kind of in the works right now? RDJ wants to do.
We have a whole nother thing to talk about Sherlock as soon as we're done with this, so don't steal my segue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so watch the trailer. Jason Statham plays a mob boss who goes undercover. They think he's a cop. He's not, and he just fucks shit up from that point on. Absolutely brilliant.
Kind of reminds me of the storyline for Smoking Aces a little bit, but it's probably going to be done better.
Oh, okay. Because that movie was actually super entertaining, even though it was such a bad movie.
Yeah. The story will be better in this than it was in Smoking Aces, I think. But I think it's playing along with those same kind of lines of the hidden mob boss.
For sure better than Smoking Aces 2.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Crap.
Way better than Smoking Aces 2.
That might have been one of my most disappointing sequels ever.
No, not most disappointing, but
you knew
really,
what you were going to get.
that's your most disappointing?
One of them, yeah. God, I enjoyed the first movie. The story was
the first one was great.
But the action in that movie was awesome.
Yeah.
So, but we also had a trailer for Spiral, which is the next movie in the line of the Saw franchise, going in a different direction. Chris Rock is I believe, the director and star.
Dude, you totally took away my segue to the RDJ, whole Sherlock thing.
Well, maybe you should have been a little more on your toes, Bobby.
Well, I was drinking wine. Okay, go ahead. Talk about the whole... Go ahead, Tank.
And
you already stole my thunder. Do your thing first.
Based on this trailer alone, we need to give comedians horror movies.
I don't know, because this has happened before. I'm trying to remember. There was a movie that came out by a comedian a few years ago, and it was just not great. The trailers looked cool, but the movie itself just wasn't executed super well.
I guess I'm taking this as in recent history with Jordan Peele doing Get Out, and the new Candyman movie. He did an amazing job, and all this does is it makes you kind of realize how fucking disturbed comedians actually are.
Oh my God, they're so fucked up.
Yeah, mentally, these are some fucked up people because...
Dude, this is why you only sleep with them, you never date them. I mean, I'm sorry, what?
But I think, as much as they want to make people laugh on stage to, get the feeling of happiness, I think if they left to their own devices in a dark room, this is what they come up with.
Well,
they want a reaction, that's for sure.
Yeah. And it's interesting, more interesting than anything since, Saw 2?
But to be fair, Chris Rock looks like he's harboring a lot of ill will towards people.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he wants to fuck somebody up. And I think he's exercising the demons. I really do.
Hate in this movie.
Serious demons in this film. I'm like, wow. And that's just from the trailer. I can only imagine what this film's going to be like.
It's but it looks so different.
Well, it looks compelling. It really looks compelling. I like the approach. And it's kind of hard to follow up because, I mean, let's face it, Saw wasn't the same after the writer passed away. After episode 2.
That's the last one I enjoyed. Honestly, was 2.
2.
Yeah.
After that, it just got kitsch. It changed gears and it changed feel. You could absolutely feel a difference in the film, and they even addressed that later on, where it's just like it's not even like the same guys. It's not, for past sins. It's just for torture for the sake of torture.
Yep, it's torture porn.
It was torture porn.
So to see, kind of Chris Rock take this on, I'm curious, and like you said, it really feels so freaking dark and twisted.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
But you say dark and twisted like it's a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. No. I mean, some of the greatest comedies are, teen slasher films. I mean, they're great. I laugh my ass off at them. So,
my favorite slasher film is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, I laughed my ass off. Johnny Depp got dragged up the fucking ceiling, ripped in half. It was awesome.
First kill for Freddy in the movies was
Johnny Depp.
And it was hilarious.
Kevin Bacon got ripped to shreds in fucking Halloween. It's great.
Mm-hmm. But this doesn't look like it's going to be one of those movies, by the way. This doesn't look like a slasher flick. This looks like check your fucking closet before you go to bed tonight. Kind of.
Yeah.
So not a movie to watch with your children.
No,
Kevin Bacon went in Friday the 13th. I apologize. Kevin Bacon went Friday the 13th.
But yeah, this story seems to be very grounded and very psychological.
That's the term I was looking for.
Yeah. Which fits Rock to a T. So we'll see.
Makes me
what
excited.
else? What else do you have, Bobby? We don't want to steal your segues.
Yeah, sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Speaking of stealing ideas, let's talk about Space Jam.
I thought we all agreed we weren't going to talk about Space Jam.
We're not talking about Space Jam.
I'm excited about the cartoon aspect of it, just because I like the characters.
Okay, can we first talk about the fact that people are upset that, what is it, Babs the bunny is no longer sexy, Lola the bunny, whatever. The stupid girlfriend of Bugs is no longer sexy.
That's the big problem that a lot of people had with it, which my thought is, why are you still enthralled by a cartoon from 25 years ago that got you a stiffy when you were 12?
Because
they're gonna go home and work out that fantasy later. I don't know.
Apparently, that stiffy was the last one they had.
I actually like the fact that they made Lola more, bunny-like, and
I think the only bunny that should give anyone a stiffy is Jessica Rabbit.
Well, and she's more athletic. She has a basketball player's build.
She does. She's not sexualized in the same way. She's not sexualized.
Yeah.
She's not sexualized in the same way. Now she's, the kind. Sorry.
Now she's a hardened vet in this. Like, I've already played this fucking game. Let's get out there and kick these guys' asses, I guess. And I don't know. I'm fine with it. Cool. But this movie's going to suck, right? I mean...
so bad. So bad is it going to suck?
LeBron is not a good actor, which is saying something because Michael Jordan's not a good actor either.
Yeah, but at least they shot around his stupidity well enough in the original Space Jam. This one looks like
they had Bill Murray come in and save his ass.
I'm sorry,
they had Bill Murray and Dennis Knight there too.
They had them come in and save their ass.
Pick up the slack. It looks like that's going to be done by Don Cheadle this time, apparently.
Yep.
Oh.
But here's the thing. I don't think Don Cheadle can save this movie.
No.
Bill Murray could carry an entire movie.
He has carried many movies.
Yes, is Don Cheadle very athletic?
First off, no. Second, he's also not very funny.
He's funny as Rhodey. He's funny in a serious way. He's not funny in a funny way. He's funny when he's trying to be serious, and you can kind of tell that there's a little bit of goofiness to his seriousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like in what was the what the hell was that show on Showtime?
Oh, where he was the ad guy with Good Place chick and
what was his name who played the first Rhodey?
Kristen Bell and that movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Show.
That one series. Yeah, because they're ad agencies.
The funny part of that show was when he was being a total dickhead.
Casey says he was freaking hilarious as Captain Planet. Casey, first off, thank you for joining us. Second, Don Cheadle is just not funny.
He is funny, but not in this context.
He's not funny when he tries to be funny.
And I think that's going to be the problem, is that you're going to try and make him goofy. And you got to remember, when the first Space Jam was made, that movie was basically entirely predicated on Michael Jordan's hatred for
Bugs Bunny.
No,
the NBA.
For the GM of the Chicago Bulls. That was entire that character in that alien boss was based on his GM, and he fucking hated that guy, so he wanted to make him look like a dick, and that was the entire premise of the aliens, invading Earth for a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I don't know what the fuck. It sucks, man. It doesn't look good.
First off, it is
Space
way
Jam
too
is
late.
because it's terrible. This is terrible because it's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stash, as the resident terrible movie lover, and I say this with love because you love terrible movies that are designed to be terrible movies.
You have an appreciation for really shitty movies.
I do.
But you like them because they're meant to be bad movies and not because they are bad movies that are meant to be good movies.
Yeah, that's exactly the fundamental thing.
This is a movie that is going to be complete and total dung, but it is supposed to be a good movie.
I know.
So, I would like your opinion on this.
Well, I pretty much agreed with everything Jake said. It's gonna suck ass, and it's like I'm interested in it because I kind of want to see how bad it goes off the rails, just how shitty this movie can actually be.
So,
because it looks real bad, man. That trailer, I was like, oh shit.
Even the animation just looks god awful.
Oh my god. And then they do like different
hashtag dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire, yes. Let's go.
Yeah, total dumpster fire.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like we'll see. It's like,
So,
I mean,
can I just sum up to just say that all of us here, for the rarity that we should actually call hell and check the temperature, that all of us agree that this is a dumpster fire that is going to be so bad we won't even roast s'mores over it.
Well, I mean, see, the thing is, we all thought that about Sonic, and Sonic turned out to be the shit. So, I mean, it may surprise us, but
Nah.
That also had some massive rewrites. Apparently.
What we all said was Sonic had the potential to be a dumpster fire, and then Sonic listened to the fans and rewrote it, and then we said, good job, Sonic people, for listening to your fans.
Not completely fucking this movie
And
up.
then we all said, okay, we've all lost interest. We no longer care.
It was good. Sonic was good.
Yeah, but Tank,
movie.
that was also a little bit before your time.
Yeah, well, but I would have been right along the same path. I mean, I thought that too when I saw the first trailer for them. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yes, but
Yeah, like,
but all of
when
it. Okay, so
the
would
first
you have
trailer dropped,
agreed
it was almost like a joke.
that the first round we all said this is going to be a horrendous dumpster fire, and then the Sonic team said, "Oh my God, this is going to be a horrendous dumpster fire." So they went back into the studios, did some tappity tap tap, and fixed things.
Well, they should go do that with this Space Jam movie.
And then we all said, "Good job, Sonic team, for listening to your fans. But hey, guess what? We no longer care."
Let's start with take LeBron James out of the movie, and
I would rather actually see Kobe. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Too soon.
No.
Too soon.
No, right on time. But yeah, that sucks. That movie sucks. I'll watch it because I want to see how badly they fuck this movie up. But
You're gonna see it because you've got kids. Shut up. My kids aren't stupid enough to enjoy this.
Yeah. And in fairness, his kids don't like basketball.
Well, I don't like basketball either, but I still like Space Jam.
Yeah,
but
but
I'm
there's
just gonna
not
say-
enough. There's not enough people being punched in the face for his girls to enjoy this movie.
My 2-year-old might like it because of the colors, but that'd be about it. But that's because she could stare at a rainbow for hours and be fascinated. So
This is true. Which
That's a
reminds me,
special
you still
thing you
have to
got there,
send me your 5-year-old's football schedule because I don't care if it's two-hand touch. She's still gonna tackle some motherfuckers.
yeah, that's gonna happen.
All right.
What else do we got?
Moving on. We have 2 more things to cover, and then I promise we're gonna be done. All right.
I need to go to bed.
I know. The first thing is, and it was alluded to previously, and that is the new Sherlock movie. And Robert Downey Jr. has been talking about this, and he wants Sherlock to be his next Iron Man.
Which is all well and good, except for they're not going to make $1 billion on it.
No.
No.
And so he's been quoted as saying he wants Sherlock to be as big as Iron Man. And
I
it's
understand
not that he wants Sherlock to be as profit grossing as Iron Man, but he wants basically to have the same
Clout.
freedom as Iron Man. So a lot of
So he wants $80 million to play Sherlock Holmes?
no, a lot
I'm
of
trying to figure out what you're
the
saying here, Bob.
a lot of the Tony Stark that we saw was actually just RDJ.
Well, yeah, and I
Of course.
like the Sherlock Holmes movie so far, but
Yeah.
it's never going to hit the same note as Iron Man.
Yes, but
No,
but
it's
he
like
wants
AFC.
Sherlock to have the freedom that he had with Iron Man.
That'll never happen.
That'll never
That
happen.
won't, because there's so much fan fiction. Everything is derived from the original Conan Arthur Doyle books. It's like
I
they
understand.
need to play some tribute to that. It's like he can't have that as
Well,
much
I
as
mean-
he wanted it.
Yeah, I mean the Sir Conan Arthur Doyle trust, that whole group, they're still pissed off about Enola Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean they're not gonna let RDJ run in there and like run fucking cowboy
Which
all
is
over what he
funny
wants to do.
because I haven't heard what they have to say about the Irregulars.
Nothing yet.
Nothing, yeah.
Because the Irregulars
Sherlock.
has him painted as this, drug-addled, weak-willed, pansy-assed
Drug-addled.
bitch.
Drug-addled is Sherlock Holmes, by the way, so let's go ahead.
Yeah.
That one's fine.
Yeah.
He was
Yes,
a
I
hardcore
know.
opiate addict.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hardcore. Like, the drug-addled part is
No,
part of
no.
his.
I get
Yeah.
that, but I'm
But he
just
looks like
saying.
He looks like a fucking idiot in Irregulars, so that's the problem with that.
yeah.
But to be fair, though, it can't happen from the standpoint of there's nothing to build off of that they did with Marvel. No, the one great thing that they had with Tony Stark is that there's this huge universe that he's attached to. There are maybe 3 connections that they can do off of the Sherlock Holmes. They already killed Moriarty, so there goes one. The other one is Jack the Ripper.
Right.
There was always that kind of connection of him trying to catch Jack the Ripper. And then there was just like a couple of other, obscure detective stories that, were very deep. But which one do you choose?
But they're good stories, and they're
good stories.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're not.
Read the stories. If you want to pick up a book and be interested, Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes is not a bad way to go because it really builds. But there is a limiting factor for that, and that is it is not going to be as widespread or as recognized or as anything compared to the Marvel stuff. It's not.
No.
It's never going to
He'll
hit
never
that
have
scale.
a role like that again.
Yeah.
It's just, that's a once-in-a-lifetime role. And
it is, and he actually gives Marvel the credit for saving his life.
I believe that.
John Favreau specifically, he calls out on that one, I think.
Yeah, I believe
because it was Favreau who fought for him to become Tony Stark.
And it was perfect.
And it was because Marvel originally did not want to cast him as Tony Stark because of RDJ's past. And he
had just gotten out of rehab again. He had just served his prison sentence
again,
and he's on probation again. So he's circling the drain, and Favreau steps in. He's like, "No, man, I believe you. I believe in you."
And it was one of those things that playing Tony Stark saved his life, and he fully credits Marvel with saving his entire life. He's like, if it was not for playing Iron Man, I would not be alive today. I would not be the man I am today.
And don't get me wrong on this. I am super intrigued for him to play Sherlock Holmes again. I can't wait to see
And I think that he's an incredible Sherlock. I even liked him as Dr. Dolittle.
Wow.
I didn't love him as Dr. Dolittle, but I thought he was better than Eddie Murphy.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong on that, to be honest.
I think you might be the only person on the planet who thinks that.
I thought Eddie Murphy was a fucking cop-out doofus as Dr. Dolittle.
Yeah, because he was getting paid a shitload of money to do that.
Yeah. He literally did what he was paid to do.
Yeah. But this it won't hit the scale of Iron Man. It can't. It's not possible.
It won't hit the scale of Iron Man. And nobody other than RDJ thinks it will hit the scale of Iron Man. But I understand what he's saying.
And he wants to become synonymous with that character. He might be able to pull that off to a certain degree of becoming synonymous with Sherlock Holmes.
I don't think he can.
But he's got a lot of competition in that.
He's got to beat Cumberbatch at that point. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's hard.
Okay, here's the thing. Because of the TV show, I think that Cumberbatch will always be Sherlock.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why you can't hit that level. It looks like it's going to be cool, but it won't hit that level.
No.
You can't beat Cumberbumble. Nope.
Yeah, that was just perfect casting, perfect acting, a perfect redefinition of what Sherlock was.
Yeah.
And it's like, the movies are good and they're enjoyable, but they won't stand up to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm glad they ended it when they did.
All right,
True.
And to end our nights, we shall end with the Night House trailer. This is, I believe, the woman from Kong. The mother.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Did any of us actually watch this trailer? I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what we're talking about.
I did watch this trailer.
It looks like an interesting They kind of look like they're taking some notes from.
But if nobody cares, we could just say, end it now, and we'll talk about it next week.
And on that bombshell, we shall say goodnight because we don't know this. We don't care. We've kept you up long enough, and we've drinking way past our limit. So in the meantime, run fast.
And if that doesn't work for you, look, here's my bra.
Oh my god!
Look, I'm a bottle of wine and a donut in. Look, I didn't flash my tits. I only showed the top half of my bra.
Good, because you get us banned on both Twitch and YouTube and Facebook.
There was no nipple.
It was black lace. Look, it's black lace.
Okay.
I didn't even show the green half. Now there's the green half.
Good night. Laugh hard, run fast, and always look the bra in the lacy part. Good night.
And we'll talk about that trailer this week.
Oh my god.